Look, the PS5 is hard to get. So we did whatever we had to do to get one of these units to show to you. There were epic battles with blood, guts, laser cannons, and everything. I don't even want to talk about it, but let's just say we will do whatever it takes. So follow us here and at freshandfelicia.live for more groundbreaking reviews. And thanks if you're already following us. So let's talk about the PS5. Man, this thing is fast, lightning speed. We're talking a custom CPU, GPU, and solid-state drive that just really overwrites the rules of what a gaming computer can do. I mean, you're going to get a gaming computer in a unit that is a lot less expensive with a lot more capabilities. There's two versions of the PS5. There's the standard for about $500, and then there's the digital edition. So if you go for the standard, that one still uses Blu Ray disc. It's about $100 more than PlayStation Digital Edition. The specs are identical with the exception of the Blu Ray disc drive. But with the disc drive, you can watch Blu Ray movies if you still have those. You can also borrow and trade games on physical Blu Ray discs. Otherwise, your library is going to be online only, and you won't be able to share games or Blu Ray movies. Oh, and the PS5 with the disc will also play the PS4 game disc. So if you have an extensive collection of PS4 games, you can play those on the disc edition. But if you don't have the disc drive, you're going to have to buy the digital editions and a bunch more money and disc space. All right, let's talk about video output. We're talking HDMI 2.1 output. You're going to give you about 4K at 120 frames per second and 120 hertz. So that is awesome. You're not going to miss anything. There's going to be no ghosting anything. It's going to look amazing. It theoretically also has 8K output when that arrives via a firmware update. And of course, they are HDR compatible if you have an HDR compatible monitor or TV. There's also really cool 3D audio if you have compatible headphones or speakers. So that's pretty neat too. The controller itself is pretty cool. There's something called controller-based immersion, which is a cool gaming experience you've probably tried before that has haptic feedback, meaning the controller vibrates or moves when applicable during gaming. It's not new, but it feels like a smidge more powerful because these controllers are heavy. There's adaptive triggers on the back, which is kind of a new thing, and it applies dynamic resistance, so you can amp up or pull back on triggers. I don't know, when you're driving or flying rockets and stuff. It's going to give you a little bit of resistance there. Plus, the controller now has a microphone for speaking, blowing, yelling, or whatever, and also has a tiny speaker built in too, which is pretty neat.
Hello! Hello!
Let's talk about specs of the unit. We're talking about an AMD Ryzen Zen 2 with 8 cores up to 3.5 gigahertz, so pretty darn peppy. Interesting they went with the AMD, but I'm kind of digging that because they seem to be a lot more efficient. The GPU, also AMD or Radeon RDNA 2 based graphics engine. It also has ray tracing acceleration, runs up to 2.23 gigahertz. System memory, we're looking at 16 gigs of DDR6. A solid state drive, it only has 825 gigabytes. It's kind of disappointing in that. I was hoping they go at least a couple of terabytes. And of that 825, you're only going to be able to use about 660 gigabytes to store your games and videos and all that stuff. It has gigabit Ethernet and also 802.11 ABGN ACAX wireless, so you can use either of those. Of course, gigabit's going to be the most reliable and the fastest in most cases, but that could change as well. I'll tell you what, one of my favorite features of the PS5 is right out of the box, it comes with a game called Astro's Playroom that you can play. It's loaded on the machine itself, and it is an amazing little game that actually helps you understand how the controller works. It is kind of like a Mario, like a Super Mario game. You go through these adventure worlds and do all kinds of stuff, and it really shows you all the really cool things that the controller and that the gaming system can do. Great family game, and I'll tell you what, we're playing this too. You get about 3-4 hours out of this game before you have to play anything else, and it is very, very well done. So great job to the programmers over there at Sony. Huh? Does he?